At Myriota, we see an unserved need for connectivity to the Internet of Things in remote areas. Think of a farmer, and this is a common use case, sending farmhands around driving Land Cruisers to do something as rudimentary as looking at the amount of water in a water tank. All right, no clicking. Thank you. That's not where I want to be, thank you. All right, so that's the presentation. You've all seen it now. You can sit down. All right. Myriota's breakthrough technology makes it easy and affordable to access critical operational data anywhere on the planet. Internet of Things, big market, billions of devices, trillions of dollars, either at or just past the peak of the hype cycle. Myriota is about a very specific niche part of that market. It's the intersection of remote location and mobile assets and devices, where there's a need for really a low-cost service, and where the amount of data might just be bytes. Soil moisture, where's my asset, things like that. We're at the intersection of those three requirements and very focused on that market. Where does Myriota come from? Back in 2011, a fairly large research program that I led at the University of South Australia back in the days when I was kind of an academic, developed this system, maths, waveforms, prototype, through to aircraft trials and then satellite trials both here in Australia and in Canada with our partners. We were awarded a prize by the International Wind Forum, actually beating out a software-defined radio that was bolted on the space station, so we're all very proud of that. It's quite some ancient history now. And in 2015 closed a funding round to get going as Myriota, and importantly with our investor Exact Earth, gaining access to a constellation of on-orbit, low-Earth orbit satellites that gives us immediate access to a space segment. Our team, myself and David Haley, both with experience at a previous startup, Coda Wireless, that I co-founded, and David worked as one of the senior engineers, and built out our team, including some of the original scientists on the research program at UniSA, and then bringing in people such as Tom Rayner, who's, put your hand up Tom, sitting at the back there, doing business development for us with a long background in corporate agriculture and marketing. So a very exciting team. What's the technology? So leveraging a portfolio of a dozen patents that are at various stages of filing. It's a little transceiver device that's the size of a 50-cent piece. That's not even the smart part. That's commodity electronics leveraging existing Internet of Things silicon ecosystem, transmitting over tiny slivers of bandwidth, so think of kilohertz rather than megahertz, to a constellation of satellites in low Earth orbit at an altitude of 700 kilometres. That satellite is this big. All right, it's 20 centimetre cube, about $1.5 million to build and launch, and we have an access to an entire constellation of those that's already in orbit and that we're using on a daily basis at Myriota. The clever part happens back in the cloud, where we need to take receipt of the signals observed by those satellites and many, many packets that are all jumbled up at extremely weak power levels so you can barely see them. We need to capture those and sort them out. And this is from a platform that's moving at 7,000 metres per second. That's quite a stunt, but that all happens in the cloud. This platform is scalable. The space segment's scalable because the individual assets are cheap and you can launch them quickly. And the cloud, commodity cloud, all scalable. This delivers a 10 times reduction in the total cost of ownership compared to what is available right now in terms of satellite solutions. So low power, small data, global, even down at the poles. We've been approached by, actually now it's over 100 companies interested in deploying our system, and we're actually having to triage down into our first commercial deployments. So this is since November 2015, looking at commercial and technical fit, and then further triaging down into what is something like 15 or 20 that we will be deploying over the next little while, looking at the timing, scale, and then particularly pathway to international deployment. The first three cabs off the rank are some maritime monitoring applications of navigation lighting, rail cars, and portable assets. So the millions and millions of hire assets, not just asset tracking, but for example, Australian story, emptying toilets, when does it need to be emptied? So we're on a path. Over 2017, full commercial rollout, next generation devices. We will be raising capital during 2017. happy to have that conversation with any of you. Or if you're interested in using our system,